Hey everybody, it's Joe from greenlightsound.com, and today we've got a look at an EQ and what I call the best EQ for kick drum. And of course that's a little bit of a silly title for the video because there are dozens upon dozens of EQs that can work great on kick drum, but this is one that a lot of engineers tend to gravitate toward and that I tend to use a lot as well, and that is the API 560 graphic equalizer. This is the Waves version on the screen, which is very inexpensive most of the time. There are a bunch of other versions of this API 560 EQ you can get, or use the hardware, of course. There are really two things that make the plugin unique and especially suited for kick drum. Number one is the frequencies that are chosen. And you can see we've got 31, 63, 125, 250, 500, 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16K. They're basically octaves apart. It's doubling the frequency almost exactly each time. So 31 double to 63, and anytime you double the frequency, it's an octave higher. 63 double is around 125. Then we get exact doubles, 250, 500, 1K, 2K, 4K, 8K, and 16K, always jumping up octaves here. But these frequencies are perfectly suited for kick drum. And let's start at the bottom and talk about why that is. First of all, this 31 hertz frequency, that's going to be your sub information. If you want your kick to be super deep, or if you want to get rid of that sub information, we can use this band right here. The meat of the kick, the main body, that's that 63 hertz. You're usually going to boost around 60 hertz on a kick drum to really let it pop through in the low end. 125, now this one can go either way. We can actually get a little bit of that upper low end out of the 125 band, or we can tuck this back a little bit to make room for bass, especially in a mix. As we get into the 250 and 500 bands here, we tend to want to cut these, especially 500 on drums and kick drum especially. This is where we kind of get that boxy sound. That can also be the case with 1K sometimes. So this sort of 250, 500, 1K, you might want to scoop a little bit out on kick drum. As we get to 2 and 4K, this is kind of where that snappiness of the beater hitting the head comes from. So if you want to snap, you want to boost one of these bands. And then if you really want to hear the opened up top end, kind of open up the air on the top of the kick, you can boost these 8 and 16K bands, or we can of course cut them and make the kick a little bit more dull sounding by doing it that way. So all of these frequency bands are really perfectly suited for kick drum. So let's hear kick drum part by itself without any EQ applied. In fact, there's nothing going on right now except for a gate. Here it is, kick drum. All right, so let's take a look at this 31 hertz band. I'm going to boost it first. And I would suggest you listen on headphones maybe, or even monitors that have a good low end to them, maybe a sub, so you can really hear this. So we're going to boost it first, and then we'll cut it. You can really hear that low end now. And we can really take a lot of that low end out by pulling out that 31 hertz band. Now in this kick drum, I might want to pull it back just a little or push it up a little, but I wouldn't go too extreme. All right, now our 63 hertz band, again, this is the core of the kick. I'm going to want to boost this. That's like the kick hitting you in the chest there. 125 can go either way. If you really boost it, it's still low, but it's got this kind of woofiness to it. So I'd like to cut just the tiniest bit here, and that'll also leave room for the bass guitar in the mix. Just a couple dB. All right, 250. This is where we get into the boxiness of the kick. So if I push this, you'll hear it. Really want to cut a lot of that out. 500, really boxy. Not great sounding at all. Scoop that out. 1K. Just a weird frequency on kick. All right, now we're getting kind of into the snap. Now, how much snap we want depends on the context, the genre, the mix, but we'll get a little bit of snap out of it here. Just a little bit of 2K, a little bit more 4K, and here's where the air comes from with the 8K and 16K. So you can really make it snappy by opening up that top end, or if we cut down more, we can have more of our focus on the upper mid-range here rather than the extreme top end. I like a little snappier in that case. So there we go. That's every frequency band kind of seeing how they fit in the context of the kick drum. Now let's bypass the plugin and hear the kick by itself again. And back in with the EQ. I'll bypass the EQ on and off as it plays. So there it is, the API 560 on kick drum. Of course, a matter of debate whether it's the best EQ to use on kick drum, but a lot of engineers do use it because the frequencies are really perfectly suited for kick, and it's really easy to dial in a good kick sound with this API EQ. If you've got a favorite EQ to use on kick drum, I'd love to know down in the comments section, or if you have any other questions or comments, let me know down there. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already, so we can keep you in the loop as to what's coming up next, and I'll see you in the next one.